Tommy.
Hey Andrea, how you doing?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
It's good to see you back here. How was your holiday?
It was excellent. I took it easy this year for New Year's. I uh, I made a crock pot of my chili and wore my jammies and watched some movies and just kind of slowly drifted into 2024. And I was probably asleep by like 9:30,
There
but
you go.
I woke up New Year's Day and felt great. Got up, worked out, and trained a few clients. I was proud of some of my clients. I worked on Christmas and New Year's this year. So, you know, people ask like, well, why do you work on the holiday? And I'm like, if my clients are willing to work out that day, then I'm willing to be there and do it with them and stuff. So, because I'm going to work out at some point. So, you know,
It's great accountability for both of you.
yeah.
I mean, it helps them stay on their track
I
during the
so I
holidays.
I mean honestly, I like it's exciting when a client is like, so, are you around on Christmas?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you are, I will be there. 'Cause it gets me excited because they're willing to do that. And in a lot of cases, there was a time when they would never have thought about working out on Christmas Day or New Year's Day or something like that. So,
A lot of people, holiday equals don't work out,
right.
so to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that,
yeah. It's a free pass type of thing and
right.
stuff. And there's really nothing wrong with that. You don't have to do that, but I just like seeing that transformation with some people because you see someone who's just dragging themselves to the gym at one point, and now it's Christmas Day, and they're like, would it be a big deal if we got together
Like,
and
when am I
worked
working
out?
out? How am I
Yeah.
fitting this in? That's a great healthy habit that that's
Yeah.
a lifestyle change right there.
You had a big New Year's this year though,
I did, yeah.
and holiday overall.
Yeah, and we went to Florida on a family trip. We drove, and this was the first family trip as a blended family. So
Mm,
we took my daughter and her friend, and Anthony's son, sorry, and his friend, and we rented a Tahoe and we drove down to Florida, and we had a great time. I mean, this was, the kids are going to be going off to college and stuff. So we wanted to make the most out of our time with them. So we had a wonderful time. We went up to Stewart.
how did you didn't drive straight through?
We
So,
did.
oh, did you really?
We
Oh, I
did.
didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
we drove straight through.
Ugh,
Anthony and I, he pretty
God.
much drove the whole way there.
Well, God bless him because
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah. On the way back, we switched up a little bit,
Yeah,
but it worked out great. It really did. I preferred it, and it's a beautiful drive.
it
It's a
is.
beautiful
I've
drive.
I've been on the drive before, but my stipulation was because there was like 10 of my friends going down to Florida, and my friend Neil,
Yeah, I know Neil.
he had a big blue van at the time, and I told everybody, I'm like, I will go, but I am not driving
Hmm.
because I was kind of like on the fence about going on this trip, and they were really insisting but I'm like, but I won't drive. Neil, God bless his heart, drove the entire way. And there were other people in the van who could have done it, but he did the same thing. He drove the whole way there, and he drove the whole way back too.
That's
And
great.
just some people are good. He's fine. He'll sit there and just go the whole time. But man, there's no way. It's hard enough for me to be in a car that long.
Yeah, and we weren't able to sync up the children with their bathroom breaks and stuff, so we were
Right.
stopping enough to
Yeah.
be able to take a quick break and stretch and bend over and stretch your back
Yeah.
out. And but when we rented the Tahoe, it was so much more comfortable than the
Oh,
cars that
sure.
we have. So
Yeah.
we were fine, and my biggest concern was not how I was going to feed the kids.
Right.
They're 16 and 17-year-old
Yeah.
boys and girls that were,
And they're gonna eat like them.
they're
Yeah.
going to eat like them.
Yeah.
They're athletes, right? So we had feeding them was not going to be the problem. Finding food for them is no big deal. They'll eat pretty much anything.
Right.
But this was my first trip 100 pounds lighter,
Yeah.
and I haven't taken a vacation in a very long time. And the last time I was 100 pounds heavier. So where I was going to eat and what I was going to eat really didn't matter to me because I wasn't on my program. So it was a huge worry for me on how I was going to stay on my goals.
Yeah.
Not so much for my weight, because that doesn't really matter to me. It does. It's a measurement, but it doesn't. I just want to feel good.
Yeah.
And when I eat that truck stop food, or
Oh yeah.
exit food, or
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it, and then I'm sedentary for 24 hours, it just doesn't
No,
blend
you
well
you're
with
you
me.
yeah, no, you're foggy and sluggish and you got no energy and you don't want to be like that when you're on your vacation.
And the last road trip I took, 100 pounds heavier, that's exactly what I did. I
Yeah.
was sluggish and ate everything. And, hey, right, well, we're stopping at Burger King. Let me see what I can get there. Still feeling guilty about what I was eating.
Well, you get that, well, I'm on
I'm on
vacation.
vacation.
Right.
Let it begin. Let the
Yeah.
party begin. And I didn't want that mindset. So I had to, when we started planning this trip, I wanted to make sure that I kept to my personal goals, but yet I was flexible, because I'm not going to ruin the time for the kids saying, "Well, we can't eat here because it
Right.
doesn't have any food for me to eat." I had to give too, and it was a vacation, but
Yeah.
so I wanted to share with everybody, the next time you plan a family vacation, that it is possible to stay on your health goals, and just to stay in the right mindset. So what we did was, when we drove down, Anthony and I basically said we were going to fast without completely fasting. I mean,
Mhm.
those exits, there really was no food for us to eat.
No,
I don't eat fast food. I don't like it. It doesn't
and
do
even
well
a
with me.
salad at a fast food place is really nothing.
This
I
is
mean,
it's
it's still it's just as bad in just different
There's
ways,
so many preservatives, and
Yeah.
they don't agree with me. So I decided to do a semi fast. I was going to make sure I could hydrate, because they were constantly getting out to go to the bathroom and eat and grab a snack. And so I knew that wasn't going to be an issue. So I made sure that I pounded my water, and had my coffee to stay
Yeah.
alert. But I ate just enough to keep my blood sugar balanced. So I did bring a bag of almonds with me, but that's about all I
Right.
brought.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't a bag of French fries. You know what
no,
I
no.
mean? It's like,
I would have a handful of almonds, and
yeah,
then we would drive. I wasn't exerting any energy other than
and that's
watching someone drive.
and that's the other thing too is if you're not uh if you're not burning off too many calories, you don't really need to take
No,
in too many calories,
you
and
don't need
so
all that food.
it's something to think about sometimes, where like, look, if you're going to be sitting for 5 or 6 hours, it's having a 1,500 calorie meal and then doing that, it's not going to serve you.
Right. And, had we stopped at a restaurant, life would have been different. But we didn't want
Right.
to take 2 hours out to stop at
Yeah. No, if it
the
was me.
family sit down, and when we had 19 hours to drive, we just wanted to get there.
Yeah,
Um,
as would I.
so, and right. What was funny, a little side note, is Anthony didn't change his mapping from avoid tollways. So it added like 3 hours to our drive.
Oh yeah.
It was It's kind of a side note, but it was really funny. We realized it on the way back. We're like, why isn't it only taking 16 hours on the way back? But we did it from my phone.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, and then the second thing I did was I found a really nice house in Stewart, Florida, where I knew that I could cook. And I love to cook.
Yeah,
I love to cook, and I
I love
love
to
to
cook
cook
too.
for people who love to eat. And
Hmm.
these kids love to eat anything I make.
Yeah.
One of the kids even compared me to his grandma, and I was hoping that he was just referring
Yeah,
to the
no.
cooking part of it.
But no, homemade food is always for the best.
It
So,
is. It was a great way for me to stay on my goals, because I cooked what I want.
hmm,
I had my own. I even brought my coffee pot on the road trip.
yeah.
I brought my coffee pot. I had my own coffee. I cooked all the food that I wanted to have, and the kids were able to eat healthy. And let me tell you something: we saved a ton of money. We saved a ton of money doing it that way, and it was fun. The kids got involved. What are you cooking? House smelled good. Music was on. We all ate together.
Hmm.
And it's a lot
Well,
cheaper that way too.
and that's a nicer vacation and a better memory than if you guys were all sitting around a table at McDonald's or something like that. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
And again, it would be cheaper. And It's just, yeah, it's, I mean, who doesn't like homemade cooking? And I know for a fact that you are a good
Oh,
cook.
thank
So,
you. Yeah, and I would cook a little bit extra so because they would pound food at night
yeah,
too, like overnight. I think they stayed up until 6, 7 in the morning every morning.
yeah,
It's crazy how it changes as you get older. The other thing that I made sure I did, and I think I just mentioned this, but I knew that I could control my hydration.
hmm,
And I made sure that I had the water that I wanted to drink and I drank it. And that made a really big difference with my hunger and my, energy level to be able to cook for the kids. The next thing I did was I promised myself that I would stay active.
yeah,
And and Anthony works out. He's a weight loss success story as it is, and so he craves the workouts every day. So we made a fun thing out of it, and we found 3 different gyms that
hmm,
we were going to hit, three
yeah,
different days. And what's really cool is that we didn't have to pay a thing. They all had free guest passes.
sure.
So that's one way to stay fit on your vacation, and it's fun to see what's out there.
Well, it's always nice to go to a new gym, but not only a new gym, but like in a different state, and just there's little things that are different. You see different people, and I don't know. It's just it's something new. It's something different, and that's why I think it was cool. Not only that you found the gym, but you didn't just pick one and go there for 3 times. You went and found 3 different ones to experience all of those, and I think that makes it more fun then too. So
Yeah, and if you guys aren't comfortable with going to gyms or gyms aren't your thing, you could find 3 different walking paths
yeah,
or
yeah.
3 different
Find something that's just unique to the area, and like even if it's a downtown or something like that,
that
like
you walk.
right, yeah,
Hmm.
I go up to Cassopolis, Michigan in September every year for a weekend with the guys. We rent a lodge, but I will walk. There's a lake that we're on, but there's a town right there, and I will walk just around the town. And it's an old town,
Hmm.
and it's just I can walk about 3 miles, and you see a lot of cool stuff, and that's my exercise while I'm
Oh
there,
yeah, the last part of our vacation, we went to Disney,
Yeah,
and there's not one gym
no,
in any of Disney property whatsoever. So that was forget that thought.
yeah,
So I made it a point to, well, you have no choice but to walk at
right.
Disney. I mean, you're going to get your steps
I
in
was gonna
whether you
say you're
like it or
still gonna
not.
get a workout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are going to get a
It's
workout
like
no
going to
matter
it's like
what.
going to Vegas. I mean, it's like walking everywhere, and you know,
It was, I think
and costs just as much too.
oh yeah, uh, for sure, especially when you're feeding 6. Um, I think one day we walked like 41,000 steps. It was crazy. We said we did about 35 miles in 2 days.
So like
That's a lot
how
of
how
walking.
many hours a day were you there?
We went early in the morning and got back late at night. I mean, we made the most of it because we were only there for 2 days. We
Uh,
added on a day so that we can. What we did was we left at 2 in the morning
mhm.
each way.
Yeah.
Uh, that way we can get a head start with the holiday. I'm I'm right in front of Tommy.
Sorry,
It's
Lily is
Lily, the executive producer of the Trippi Coaching podcast, is a beautiful, what kind of cat?
she's a tabby,
A tabby cat,
and she's
and
being obnoxious right now. She
sh
keeps bouncing around here, and now she's just felt the need to get into my lap and get comfortable. So
do you notice how Tommy's voice changes when he when he talks to Lily?
she's she needs attention. She's not getting enough attention for the 20 minutes that I'm spending doing this.
That's so cute.
So anyway, but being there that long, or you're probably you got to eat at some point. So, and I know that they're not serving anything healthy at Disney. So what did you do? I mean, I'm sure the kids just did whatever, but
Kids
like,
did whatever. Yeah. What Anthony and I did, we basically ate together. We'd split everything. We'd
yeah,
try to find the healthiest option on there that had things that we're kind of plain eaters,
yeah.
so it had things that we liked, and we split it.
It's
And
it's at that point when you're in that situation, you just got to choose the lesser of two evils. It's like nothing's going to be good. So,
and nothing's going to be cheap.
and nothing's going to be cheap.
So part of the reason
So
we
just
split it.
just find the thing that's like at least it's chicken. Maybe it's breaded, but at least it's chicken, and I don't know. It's not a big cupcake or whatever.
They did have a good Greek salad with chicken on it. I
Yeah.
did have that one of the days.
All right.
So there are options that you could have. And you know what? You realize on a vacation that you have a lot of habits at home
Yeah.
that you don't do on vacation. You know, the peanut butter jar in my cabinet is there, and
But it's not
I'm not.
available to you when
It's
you're on
not
vacation.
available.
Yeah.
You know, I came back from this vacation 5 pounds down.
Yeah.
So the stuff works. You know, you just
Yeah.
change your habits, and
Hmm.
you know, but what I learned from this experience is that planning is completely crucial. You have to plan to be able to stay on your healthy habits, but you also have to be very flexible
Hmm.
and forgiving for what you are going to pick from what's available to
Right,
eat.
because there's going to come times where, yeah, you don't have a choice, and you can't beat yourself up about that. It
No,
is what it is. What it is.
because at the end of the day, health isn't about the food you eat or the exercise you do. It is about experiencing life to the fullest. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, let me ask you this. I know you well enough to know that like you like your private time to yourself too. So were you? I mean, you're in a decent sized group here, and I know you're all crashing together and everything. So were you able to get time to yourself,
I
or?
did. Yeah, I did. I made sure, especially at Disney, is where I really needed it. I had my time at the house. It was a beautiful home. It had a pool, so I was able to sit outside in the sun and just, soak that in. The weather wasn't too hot, so it was about 65 and sunny some of the days. The other days it was kind
Yeah.
of rainy. It was right before this crazy.
Well, it was better than it was here, I'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure. But in Disney is where I found I really needed the space.
Hmm. Well, by then you're getting towards the end of the trip
Yeah,
too.
you're towards the
So
end of the trip. Now we're all in one, they call it a suite, but it's really just one big giant room with a door.
yeah.
And I did find a bench by a little lake or whatever it was. And I went on my phone and just answered, I actually, I think it's when I did the posts for one of our podcast
Hmm.
promotions. And it was peaceful because I heard the birds and I watched people walk past. And they
Yeah.
do have a nice walking path there at Disney.
Yeah.
People were utilizing it too.
Good.
I saw some people, walking or running up to a bench,
Yeah.
doing a few push-ups on the bench or doing a few squats or sit-ups or whatever they were doing, and then they would move on to the next bench. So that was nice to see people
Yeah.
utilizing what they had.
But you got some time to kind of, separate and clear your
Absolutely.
mind and reset a little
I
bit.
did. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You're coming back on vacation, but you're also going to Disney and walking all these crazy steps for 2 days, but you're doing it 100 pounds lighter than you were before. How did that feel? What kind of, what did the, I got to imagine it felt good. It had to be easier.
It felt fantastic
I
because
mean,
I went from 100 pounds heavier and having somebody have to take my daughter apple picking because I couldn't do it because my feet were bad and my
mhm.
knees were bad and I had so much inflammation in my body that I had plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, I remember that.
Um, to be able, I got to the point to be able to walk Disney 2 days in a row on very little sleep, manage my healthy habits, and good footwear does help. I did buy myself a good pair of Hokas,
Yeah,
and that makes all the difference in the world. But I mean, I handled it with no problem, and I was very, very proud of myself, and it reinforced the fact that I will never go back.
right.
you know, People ask me, but you cooked on your vacation? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did because I don't want to go back to where I used to be.
See, what gets me is like, so like I had a client who like this week he went to the meat market and he got steak and he got salmon for himself. His wife wanted the steak and he got the salmon. And she was just like, "Why don't you get a steak?" And he goes, "Because I want the salmon." She's like, "But why would you?" And it's like sometimes people don't realize, you know, cooked food like that tastes good.
It tastes
It
really
tastes
good.
really good. It's not a consolation. It's not like you're saying, "Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to have this." It's like, no, I'd be excited about it. Like, fresh salmon or fresh tilapia or whatever with some rice, it's like, yeah, great. I just, I
You
don't know.
you don't feel deprived when you know how it feels to be on the other side.
Yeah.
I felt like crap.
Mhm.
And because of that, I had a whole other attitude going on with me. I had a tude going on with me.
Sure.
I was not a happy person. I would snap at people
Yeah.
because I wasn't happy with myself and I was completely spinning out of control. Even when, being a personal trainer, I know exactly what to do.
I can attest that you are more zen than I have ever known you to be
See?
right now.
Hmm.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
A lot
So,
of people have told me that too. I
yes.
don't react anymore. I just,
I
I've
mean,
worked on
I,
myself.
I can I can see it in the eyes, like if something's irking you a little bit, but it is, you are far more,
Hmm.
just you seem more at peace is a good way to put it,
And that's a testimony to weight loss. It's not about how you look.
No,
It's about who you become.
it's and how you feel and the respect that you
Yeah.
have for yourself. It's it's just weight loss. It's just that's the byproduct of getting to that point.
It's
You know,
empowering.
so
It's very empowering. And I encourage everybody to take the steps that, you learn from these podcasts. And even if you implement one of them,
mhm.
uh, it feels good. It's a win. And when you add, I heard a great quote: motivation follows action. You take the first step
Mhm.
and then you slowly start getting motivated because you see the difference.
Right, and it's the toughest part is taking that first step for sure, but it's just a matter of hanging in there, and then as soon as you hit that first small goal and you see that it's working, then you feel like, okay, this is worth my time. I'm going to go for it now.
Hmm.
And then the next goal you hit, it does it again and it does it again exponentially. And it's a great feeling. And then the more you get on a roll, some people can't stop at a certain,
Yeah, no,
they just,
really. And that's how I got. That's how
yeah,
I got. So,
yeah.
I encourage you all to implement any of these tips that you hear from us. And I also encourage you to write us with any topics that you want to hear on the podcast. Or if you yourself have a weight loss success story or know of somebody that would like to be on our podcast, we would be happy to talk to them. So,
Yeah, you guys can get us on at the email the Trippy Coaching Pod. It's Trippy Coaching Pod at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, the Trippy Coaching Podcast, where we post all of the episodes the day that they drop. I also encourage people to, if you want to leave comments about the episode, questions you might have, you can message us there. We've gotten some already, and thank you to the people who have reached out already. And we are also on Instagram, Trippy Coaching Pod. And you can find the rest of our socials in the show notes. And thank you once again for tuning in. I, of course, have been who else but Tommy else.
and I am Andrea Trippi. And until next time, here's to a healthier, more confident you.
The Trippy Coaching Podcast is produced and mixed by me. Who else but Tommy else? Theme song provided by Professor Click. Be sure and check him out at professorclick.com. All one word, KLIQ.com. The content provided in the Trippy Coaching Podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical, health, wellness advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.